Good evening and welcome to the Warsh Show. We have a jam-packed show for you tonight, folks. We'll be talking about everything from shady politicians to shoe-giving YouTubers. We've got news on a water contamination crisis, missile tests in North Korea, and a plan to save the planet that may be more smoke and mirrors than substance. And as always, we'll be bringing you the latest news with a side of humor and dad jokes that'll make you giggle like a schoolgirl. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn and laugh with the Warsh Show. Trust me, folks, you don't want to miss this. Here's the latest news coming from the Biden administration. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry recently spoke with Yahoo News, boasting of Biden's grand plans to reduce carbon emissions. But is it all smoke and mirrors? Kerry stated that the Biden administration is planning to roll out executive orders and climate mandates that are expected to lead to a 50% reduction in emissions by the end of the decade. That all sounds good, but how exactly does he plan to do this? He mentions regulations and mandates for automobiles and trucks, but leaves out any specifics, raising doubts about how beneficial these measures will be. Kerry also noted that the Biden administration is planning to invest in green energy infrastructure and improve energy efficiency, but who exactly is going to pay for all of this? Taxpayers, businesses? Kerry doesn't seem to think that's important to mention. The Paris Climate Agreement is also being brought back by the Biden administration, with Kerry stating that the U.S. is back in the game of leading the world in emissions reductions. But does anyone believe that China and India will follow suit? The U.S. may be setting an example, but will they have any followers in this case? Kerry emphasized the need for other nations to step up and meet their commitments as well, but what about the U.S.? Will the Biden administration hold itself accountable for meeting their own commitments and reducing their own emissions? While the need to reduce emissions is important, the Biden administration's plans leave a lot to be desired in terms of specifics and accountability. It remains to be seen whether these plans will actually be effective in reducing carbon emissions, or if they are simply hollow gestures meant to appease voters. In conclusion, the Biden administration's plans for reducing carbon emissions may sound good on paper, but it remains to be seen if they will be effective in practice. Kerry's lack of specifics and accountability raised doubts about the true effectiveness of these plans. Good day, folks. I bring you the latest news on the recent spill of a latex product in Philadelphia. According to reports, the spill occurred along a Delaware River tributary, and there is a potential risk of water contamination in the region. As a result, the residents of Philadelphia have been advised to switch to bottled water until the situation is resolved. The Water Department and other agencies have been testing the water in the affected area to determine the degree of contamination. They have taken samples from the river and from the Philadelphia water supply to ascertain whether the contamination has extended to the city's water supply. While the tap water remains safe to drink until at least Monday night, the Philadelphia Water Department has recommended that citizens switch to bottled water until they are sure that the tap water is completely safe. The gravity of the situation is evident by the fact that grocery stores in the city have reported a shortage of bottled water, with shelves being emptied quickly. This is a clear indication of how seriously the Philadelphia citizens are taking the warnings of the Water Department. At present, it is unclear what caused the spill or how long it will take to resolve the situation. The Water Department is closely monitoring the situation and providing regular updates. Let us hope that this situation is resolved swiftly and with the best interest of the United States at heart. Our thoughts and prayers go out to those who have been affected by this event. As always, we remain committed to bringing you the latest news with utmost integrity, dad jokes notwithstanding. Well, it looks like old Kim Jong-un has been playing with his missiles again. That's right. North Korea fired not one but two ballistic missiles off its east coast this week, aimed straight towards Japan. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's very neighborly behavior. South Korea and Japan's Coast Guard both confirmed the launches, and Japan's Coast Guard reported that two projectiles fell outside of their exclusive economic zone. It seems like the North Koreans are just itching for a fight. And get this, the missile tests came just one day after the United States, South Korea, and Japan held joint military exercises. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now, I don't want to get too political here, but it's pretty clear that the current administration's approach to North Korea isn't working. We need to be tough with these guys and let them know that we won't tolerate this kind of behavior. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. These missile tests are a direct threat to our allies in the region and to global security as a whole. And let's not forget about the countless innocent civilians in Japan who could be hurt or killed if a full-blown conflict were to break out. All joking aside, we need to take this very seriously and find a way to de-escalate the situation before it's too late. We can't just sit back and hope that everything will be okay. It's time to take action and protect our interests and those of our allies. In the words of former President Ronald Reagan, Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Let's hope that our leaders take this advice to heart and find a peaceful solution to this dangerous situation. A man has made waves on social media due to his philanthropic endeavors. Jimmy Donaldson, also known as MrBeast, has faced criticism from liberal critics for his charitable giving. However, as an unbiased journalist, I am here to present all sides of the story. MrBeast launched a $20 million charity campaign to help cure blindness in India, China, and Mexico. With over 200,000 surgeries performed, he made a significant impact on reducing the cases of blindness in those countries. Additionally, he donated over 500,000 pairs of shoes to those in need. These are undeniably impressive feats of generosity. Critics argue that MrBeast is exploiting the poor and vulnerable for his own financial gain. However, it is worth noting that MrBeast has not made any profit from his philanthropy. He has put his own money into these initiatives, and the only thing he gains is the satisfaction of knowing that he has made a difference in the world. Some also argue that MrBeast is promoting materialism and consumerism through his campaigns. However, it is hard to argue that providing shoes to those who do not have them is a bad thing. It is a basic necessity that many people take for granted. Despite the criticism, MrBeast has remained committed to his charitable efforts. He believes that he has a responsibility to use his platform for good and to make a positive impact on the world. As an impartial reporter, it is not my place to take sides in this debate. However, I believe that MrBeast's efforts should be commended. He has made a significant impact on the lives of many people around the world, and that is something to be celebrated. In conclusion, while there may be criticism of MrBeast's charitable endeavors, it is important to recognize the positive impact that he has made. His donations have helped countless people, and that is something we should all be thankful for. Thank you for tuning in to the Warsh Show today. We hope that our coverage of these important stories has informed and inspired you. We appreciate your time and your commitment to staying informed about the world around us. If you want to continue the conversation or share your thoughts about any of the topics we covered today, be sure to connect with Mark on social media. He loves engaging with his listeners and hearing your feedback. Also, if you enjoyed our show today, we would be honored if you could support us by liking and subscribing to our channels. Your support means the world to us and helps us to continue bringing you unbiased and informative news coverage. Remember, we all have the power to make a positive impact on the world, just like MrBeast and other inspiring individuals we've covered today. Together, let's work towards a brighter future, one step at a time. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Warsh Show.